Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm always intrigued by where the meditation takes us, as it informs me of what to talk about, because there's always so much to talk about. And the significance of getting to this place of silence inside of us each day, especially as, like today, these energies, this week actually, the energies in the world have been pretty intense from my perspective, with a full moon lunar eclipse coming in 2 days. My system always goes haywire whenever we are approaching a full moon. But you add a lunar eclipse to that, and it's magnified like 10 times to even 100 times. So I find myself waking up a lot in the middle of the night and having to get up and do some inner work. Last night I was up at 2 till about 6 a.m. doing inner work and communing with my inner voice and my, that space of silence. And it really is a magnificent place to cultivate and to go to, because for me at times it's so much more real than this world, because I can receive information and guidance that is important and critical to making decisions in life. Because, my mind goes back and forth with what to do, but when I sit in the emptiness, then the truth just simply arises, or my inner voice will engage me in a conversation to support me in getting to a place of knowledge and gnosis, of knowing, of an inner knowing, so that I'm making a decision from the place of what is true for me, rather than a fear-based decision in my mind or the future. You know how that goes. So for me, whenever I am losing my center, even when I'm not, I have a practice of going into the emptiness regularly, because that's how I rejuvenate my system and how I, as I said earlier, commune with my higher self, with my soul, with source. And it really is the place where you find your true self, beyond personality, beyond the constructs of this world. It is the place that I call home. And the more we cultivate this relationship with home, the more we take home everywhere we go, that we go into the world with all of its goings on, and we're able to navigate the terrain of, third dimensionality, of the mass illusion, and we're able to walk in a place of centeredness, of groundedness, no matter what is happening. And the other thing that occurs in cultivating this space is that a field of energy forms around us that protects us. And this energy, I liken it to the sun. And I always say the sun has no worries or fears about who's coming into its sphere of consciousness, because it all just burns and becomes the sun. So the more we cultivate our inner world, our inner reality, the more we begin to enlighten. We begin to become brighter and brighter beings. And in doing so, this field of energy is created, and the external world then shifts according to this field of energy. So there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be concerned about, because I am commanding time and space from this inner reality, from this inner place. And so you walk in the world, I begin to walk in the world just as that quintessential observer, just noticing everything that is happening, everything that is unfolding, and even noticing if I begin to react to something. Like I got a phone call yesterday from a tenant saying that the water supply just gone, disappeared. And the immediate bodily reaction is a contraction of, oh no, what am I supposed to do now? How do I take care of this? I have no idea how to fix a well. You know, this guy from Brooklyn who's always just turned on a tap and there's the water. But because I have the connection to my inner world, I simply took a few deep breaths in and I affirmed, somehow it's all going to be figured out. I have no idea how. It's not my job to know, but I just know it's all going to be figured out. And so I went across the street and I went to the place and I kind of did some exploration. And then the insight just came to me that the electricity switch was off. And so I got it turned back on again, and voila, there was the water. Very simple, very easy. But had I stayed in contraction and worry and fear, there wouldn't have been the space for the insight to arise or the intuition to come through to check the electricity. So it's just a simple example of maintaining that space of openness, of emptiness, of allowing, rather than the contraction of control and resistance and fear and, you know, everything else that comes along with it. And it's just a split-second decision to go from fear to openness, from doubt to trusting. It's literally a shift from this to this. And when we have our practice, our meditation practice, our dropping into our self practice, then the more we have cultivated that, then the easier it is to just switch from the contraction to the expansion, from the fear to the trust. But we have to feed this aspect of ourself. We have to commit to this practice so that we can master this game of life, so that we can be the masters of this illusion, which again is constantly changing. And so the seventh contemplation says, the truth will set me free, right? The truth will set me free. So what exactly does that mean? Is it a particular truth? Is it a one truth? From my perspective, that contemplation means that in each moment, there is the truth that arises within us for each situation. Yes, there are universal truths and spiritual principles, absolutely, that are unchanging and forever being as they are. But we are living a life that is moment to moment, right? Each moment presents something different. And so how do I know what the appropriate response is to this new moment? And that comes from the body. It comes from an inner knowing that is embodied. And for this reason, it is so important to maintain a body that is calm and relaxed and present, that isn't full of stress and resistance, so that the truth is coming from that deep place inside of us that we've cultivated with our practice. Because the body knows, the body is wise. The body knows what is accurate in each moment. And the body is connected to the mind, is connected to the emotions. Someone is unmuted. Just make sure you're muted so that you're not coming through. Awesome. So the body informs us of the truth because it will expand or it will contract. Expansion is a yes, contraction is a no. But if we're in a fight or flight response, if we're in a state of reactivity, then we don't know how to, we're not in the parasympathetic state to know what is appropriate for each moment, right? Because the fight or flight is a fear-based reality. The parasympathetic state is a relaxation response. And so we learn through relaxation what is appropriate in each moment for our being, for our well-being. And this is where we make our decisions from, the truth within us in each moment. And so this is the process that we go through in learning. Learning is not the right word. The truth is not a learning. The learning process is actually an unlearning. It's actually a letting go of the reactivity that is caught in the nervous system and learning how to maintain relaxation so that nervous system can unwind and the body can then inform us of the truth that we're here to follow, that we're here to honor. So in reality, life really isn't about learning anything per se, but unlearning all of the conditionings, all the patterns, the dysfunctional patterns that exist within us so that we may be liberated. We may be a conscious, awakened, liberated soul. And so we use these practices like the observer and watching the breath and the relaxation response. We use these practices that we may dissolve all the aspects of the non-self that we accumulated over this lifetime and even many other lifetimes. Because all these things simply accrue, amass within us. And when we sit in the still point, in the emptiness, then all these things begin to dissolve and the true self, the sun self, begins to shine, right? Begins to burn away the dross of our existence, our karma, our samskaras, right? Samskaras are memories of the past. So when we sit in the still point, in the center of our being, then each time we do so, we are cultivating that fire of truth, that inner knowing that exists within us. And that's what burns away the illusion. And that's how we can walk in the world and be in the world, but not be of the world. To be able to just move through the world, but not be touched by the world. That's what it meant when Jesus said that. Be in the world, but not of the world. Do not get caught up in the external reality, for it is not where the truth is. You will not find the truth in the world. You will not find the truth in books. You won't find the truth in classes. This is the place where you find that truth within you, and that truth will set you free. 7, contemplation.